Hello students, myself Ullas Shah from the HV Kapadia group of schools welcome you in Pastavanu Panchamrut, a program which is jointly organized by the HV Kapadia group of school and GSTV. In the previous episode, we discussed some theory points of part 1 and now we are going to switch over to part 2. In part 2 we started a first chapter, random variable. Now come to the properties of binomial distribution. Here I have stated a brief properties of binomial distribution. First, in binomial distribution, mean is equal to NP, n multiplied with p, where p means probability of success and number of trials. Second, variance is equal to NPQ. If we want to find standard deviation, then we have to take under root of this NPQ. In this binomial distribution, the mean NP is always greater than the variance NPQ. If the value of P less than 1 upon 2, the skewness of distribution is always positive. If P is greater than 1 upon 2, then the skewness of this binomial distribution is negative. But if P is equal to 1 upon 2, then skewness of this distribution is 0. It means it's a symmetrical distribution. Now come to the formula of chapter 2. First, mean of random variable x. Mean, it's also known as a sigma x. The formula is sigma x into p of x. Second, variance of random variable x, denoted by delta square or sigma x square. The formula is sigma x square minus sigma x whole square. C, binomial probability distribution. This one is a density function. P of x is equal to NCx, P raised to x, Q raised to n minus x. Here the value of n, it's a number of Bernoulli trials. P is equal to probability of success and Q is equal to 1 minus P. Now come to the next chapter. Chapter number 3, normal distribution. First, understand the meaning of normal variable. The continuous random variable x is called as a normal variable. In previous chapter, we studied discrete random variable. Here, we study continuous random variable x, which is known as a normal variable. And the distribution of this normal variable x is called as a normal distribution. Probability density function of a normal distribution. F of x is equal to 1 upon delta under root 2 pi raised to e raised to minus 1 upon 2 x minus mu upon delta square, where the value of x lies between minus infinitive to plus infinitive. The value of x indicates value of random variable x. Mu, it's a mean of normal distribution. Delta, it's a standard deviation of normal distribution. Pi, a constant value 3.1416. And E, again a constant value 2.7183. Now, the next, properties of normal distribution. Here I have briefly stated the properties. First, in a normal distribution, the value of x bar, mean and mode are always equal. Second, the distance from M to Q3 and M to Q1 are always equal. Third, skewness in a normal distribution is always 0. Next, Q1 is equal to mu minus 0.675 delta and the value of Q3 is equal to mu plus 0.675 delta. To find quartile deviation, we have to use a formula 2 upon 3 delta and mean deviation is equal to 4 upon 5 delta. Now come to the next chapter, chapter number 4, limit. In limit, we have to understand first forms of limit. There are three forms. Number one, neighborhood form. Second one, modulus form. And third one, interval form. First, this neighborhood form is described as a n a delta. If we want to convert this neighborhood form into a modulus form, then we have to use this formula. N a delta is equal to module x minus a less than delta. This is the modulus form of this neighborhood. Now if we want to convert neighborhood form into interval form, then we have to use this formula. N a delta is equal to a minus delta and a plus delta. So you have to remember three important forms of the limit. I repeat, neighborhood form, modulus form and interval form. Now come to the next topic, standard form of limit. While solving a sum of limit, we have to use this standard form. If the sum of limit is given in this form, limit x tends to a, in bracket x raised to n minus a raised to n upon x minus a, then to find the solution, we have to just make a derivative of a raised to n, and the derivative is a raised to n minus 1. So this is called as a standard form of limit. Now the next steps to solve the sums of limit. The sum of limit is somewhat complicated. So to solve the sum of limit, we have to apply three steps. Number one, first we have to make a proper factorization. Proper factorization, or we have to make a simplification of the numerator and denominator. After making simplification or after making factorization, in a second step, we have to cancel the equal element of numerator and denominator. And in the third step, whatever values are left, in which we have to put the limit value of x, that will give us the answer of limit. So here up to this, we completed chapter 1 of part 2, chapter 2, third chapter normal distribution and fourth chapter limit. So here we completed all the chapters. Now it's a time for break. So we will discuss other important points after a break. Keep continue with the Pasthavanu. Welcome back students in Pasthavanu Panchamrut. Here we are making a discussion of theory and formulas of the chapter. Now come to chapter 5 of part 2. Chapter 5, differentiation. First, understand the meaning of differentiation. A method of studying the rate of change in the dependent variable with respect to small change in the value of independent variable is called as a differentiation. It is a process of obtaining a derivative of function. So here differentiation shows a change in two variables, one independent variable and second one dependent variable. That change is also known as a derivative. So at last I can say the process of obtaining this derivative, the process of obtaining a rate of change is called as a differentiation. Now standard derivations. If the value of y is equal to x raised to n, then the derivative is called as a dy upon dx. It means derivative of y in respect to x. So the value of dy upon dx comes n into x raised to n minus 1. Second, if the y is equal to k, where k is a constant value, then the derivative of this k will become 0. If y is equal to 10 is given, then the derivative is a 0. So for any constant value, derivative comes 0. Rule of division. If y is equal to u upon v, Then to find the derivative, the formula dy upon dx is equal to v into du upon dx minus u into dv upon dx whole upon v square. Next, chain rule. If y is a function of u and u is a function of x, then we have to apply a formula of chain rule. To find the derivative dy upon dx, we have to apply this formula. Dy upon dx is equal to dy upon du into du upon dx. Along with this formula, you should also learn the sums of increasing or decreasing of function. You should also learn a sums of maximum value and minimum value. Last but not least, the part of this chapter is marginal revenue, marginal cost and marginal profit. Whenever we are asked to find marginal revenue, marginal cost or marginal profit, we have to apply two conditions. The first one is a necessity condition where you have to find out first derivative, which is called as a f dash a or f dash x, and we have to put the value 0 as a first derivative, so we can get the value of x, means units. Along with this first condition, you have to show a second condition. It's a sufficient condition. The sufficient condition is to find out second order derivative. Second order derivative is denoted by f double dash a or f double dash x. Now come to the practical example of the chapter. Up to this we completed theory portion and formulas. Now we have to understand how can we apply this formula in a practical example. As far as all sections of statistics subjects are important, but to score good marks for average students and for scoring students, the section F is very important. So here I have taken a one sum from the chapter 2 correlation, which will be asked in section F. Find the correlation coefficient between capital and profit from the given below. Here we have given the data of different 7 companies. Capital investment in crores rupees are given, and second, profit in crores rupees are given. This capital investment is taken as a X and this profit taken as a Y. So in the example of correlation, first you have to prepare this table. In this table, first you have to write X variable vertically, then after Y variable. Now in the third column you have to write XY. It means it's a product of X and Y. Suppose here you can see 15 into 9, 135. 22 into 12, 264. Similar way you have to find the product of each X and Y. Then after you have to prepare a column X square. Here you have to make a square of each X variable. As per example, you can see here 15, square of 15, 225. Square of 22, 484. Square of 12, 144. Similar manner, you have to find the square of all other X variables. At last, you have to prepare a column Y square. Here you have to make a square of Y variable. See here, for 9, the square 81, 12, 144, 8, 64. Similarly, you have to find the square of other Y variables. After finding out these values, you have to make a total here. And then after, we have to apply a proper formula. The formula is very important. So if you put a proper formula, then and then you can get a correct answer. Now it's a time for a break. So we will discuss the practical solution of this sum after a break. So keep watching in પાસ થવાનું પંચામૃત. Here we have started one sum of correlation. So continue with the sum. Previously we have prepared a table in which we have found out the values of x, y, xy, x square and y square. All that values are replaced in this formula. Before putting this formula, we have to find out x bar and y bar. The value of x bar can be found out by sigma x upon n. The total of x 110 divided by 7 number of observation, it will give you answer 15.71. Similar manner, y bar is equal to sigma y upon n. The total of y 64 divided by 7 number of observation, answer 9.14. Now we have to put a formula of xy. So here the value of r is equal to n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y whole upon under root n sigma x square minus sigma x whole square into n sigma y square minus sigma y whole square. Here we have to put a formula first as a r, then after we have to replace all the values. First we have to put a value of total of xy, here 1045 and 7, then after total of x 110, total of y 64. Again here in under root we have to put a value of n 7, total of x square 1838 and square of this 110 into in second under root value of n 7, total of y square 606 and square of this 64. After simplifying and multiplying this two and this two, we will have the value 7315 minus 7040. Again similar manner, here these two are multiplied and we have to make a square of 110. Here 606 is multiplied with 7 and square of 64. Deducting these two values, we will have the answer 275 and here 766 and here 146. By making multiplication and after taking off under root, we will have the value 334.42 in denominator. By dividing these two values, we will have the answer of correlation coefficient 0.82. It will be shown in a box. Here for this formula and each and every step you will receive a 1 mark. Now, so here we completed a practical discussion of the sum. Now come to the important topic, that's tips to success. First, time allotment. As we all know, to complete the paper within a given time, we have to make a proper time management. So here I advise you to follow this sequence of the sections given in your exam paper. First, you have to go for section A. Section A is of multiple choice questions. You can spare total 15 minutes for section A. Then after you have to go for section F. Here you can complete your 4 sums in 40 minutes. Then after you have to go for section C. You can take 30 minutes to solve the short sums and theory of section C. In section D, you can take 45 minutes to complete the short sums and short theories. Section E is a little bit tough from the part 2, so it requires 30 minutes to solve. Last but not least, section B, it takes 20 minutes. Now come to the next paper presentation. Here I am going to give you some tips to make a proper and better presentation of your exam paper of statistics. First, students, you should begin new section on a new page. Write in neat and legible handwriting. Write question numbers correctly and in sequence. Suppose you have started one section section C. So you have to complete all the questions of section C in a sequence form. Next, underline the important keywords in theory question. While writing the theory, properties, characteristics, meaning, you have to make a proper underline and you have to make underline to important keywords. Number 5, draw calculation tables with pencils properly. As we all know, in the chapter of correlation, regression, time series, index number, we have to prepare a tables. So we have to prepare that tables with pencils and by using scale only. Next, do not use colorful pens. Last but not least, solve the sum stepwise. As I previously told, in each and every sum, we have to receive a stepwise mark. For a table, we get 2 marks. Then after, by putting a formula, 1 more mark. Then by putting the values, again 1 mark. And in last, by making a proper box of answer, we will get 1 more mark. So solve the sums stepwise. Now next, priority based chapter. While making a preparation, you have to make a preparation of the chapter in this order. First you go for part 1 and then after you go for part 2. While making a preparation from part 1, first you opt the chapter to linear correlation. Then after you go for chapter 4, time series. Both are very easy chapter. Now then after, somewhat similarity between chapter 4 and chapter 3. Here least square method, here again least square method. 3 steps to solve the sum of time series and to solve the sum of regression are same. So you can easily go for chapter 3 linear regression after completing the chapter 4 time series. And after completing these 3 chapters, you can go for a chapter 1 index number. Now from the part 2, first you go for random variable and discrete probability distribution. Here you can put more focus on a sums of binomial probability distribution. Then after, go for chapter 1 probability. Next, you can go for a chapter 3 normal distribution. And these 2 chapters are somewhat typical for the average student. So chapter 4 limit, and then after you go for chapter 5 differentiation. In this order, if you start your proper preparation, you can easily score very good marks in your exam. So list of chapter, here you have to maintain this for your preparation. Part 1 is better and easy to prepare than the part 2. So make a better presentation and paper preparation for your board examination. Here at last, I wish all of you for your board exam all the best. Thank you very much.